Jujutsu Kaisen. Chapter 258 spoilers are here, and as I mentioned in the last video, Sukuna is coming back on top. Sukuna uses his domain expansion with a twist, and we understand how Yuji was able to grow stronger in just 1 month. Now, remember that the last chapter ended with Yuji landing 8 consecutive black flashes on Sukuna. Yuji can use Sukuna's technique, and we learn that Yuji is the son of Sukuna's twin brother. Today's chapter begins with the narrator explaining that after hitting 2 black flashes, Gojo constructed a special reverse curse technique circuit due to being in an awakened state. Sukuna was also supposed to regenerate all of his arms, but due to Yuji's 7 black flashes, he couldn't regain his reverse cursor technique output. But the narrator mentions that Yuji specifically hit black flashes right in between Sukuna and Megumi's soul realms. Essentially, Yuji is trying to get to Megumi. For context, after the bath that Sukuna took and killing Tsumaki, Megumi's sister, Megumi's soul is buried so deep that even 7 black flashes weren't enough to empower Megumi to fight Sukuna from the inside. Also, the narrator here mentions 7 black flashes, not 8, so I think that we've all miscalculated in the previous chapter. Maybe one of the black flashes was shown twice from different angles, and we considered it as 2 different black flashes. However, after I went back and checked the chapter again, I don't think we've made a mistake. It's certain that Yuji landed 7 black flashes in the last chapter, plus 1 in chapter 256, making the total 8 black flashes landed on Sukuna. So, I think that the narrator is talking about the number of black flashes Yuji landed in chapter 257. Now, back to the fight, Sukuna instantly uses domain expansion, Malevolent Shrine. The narrator says, the king's domain had returned to its master along with the black sparks. This is interesting because now I'm wondering how Sukuna can use his domain expansion without his left arms. However, I think Yuji with the progress and growth that he made can survive Sukuna's domain. Back to the chapter, everything surrounding Sukuna starts to get slashed. The narrator says, despite including uncertain elements and binding vows, Ryomen Sukuna had replicated Malevolent Shrine without dropping its effective range or output after experiencing the black flashes. Next, we go into a flashback to our heroes during the 1-month training. Hikari says it's important to learn reverse curse technique and countermeasures to domain for this fight. Choso says if it's about reverse curse technique, he and Yuji can manage somehow. Yuji wonders how. Hikari says his reverse cursed technique is automatic, and Yuta says he just goes by instinct. Choso says his body allows him to convert his cursed energy into blood, and if Yuji consumes his remaining brothers, he can gain their cursed technique and same properties as Choso to be able to convert cursed energy into blood. Choso also says that the downside of using reverse curse technique, which is a large amount of cursed energy consumption, is also not a concern for them, to him and Yuji, due to their special body. So, Choso asks Yuji to be paired with someone who can use reverse curse technique when they do the body swapping training. Yuji is confused, and UI reveals that with the help of his curse technique, he can even swap the souls between human beings. Kusakabe says since Sukuna took over Yuji's body and used his curse technique, Yuji's body now remembers Jujutsu of a special grade, so they plan to do the same with soul swap training. Kusakabe will first swap with Yuji's soul and teach basic cursed energy manipulation and simple domain to Yuji's body. I think now we understand why Yuta said to Sukuna that they cheated when Sukuna asked how they got so strong in just 1 month. If you remember, Yuji said that they got stronger through hard work and determination, while Yuta said they cheated. To be honest, both answers are correct. I mean, Yuji is able to use piercing blood after consuming the death paintings 4 through 9, and he can use simple domain after soul swapping with Kusakabe, and both of these methods can be considered as cheating. However, Yuta is also correct because while Yuji is using shortcuts, he is still working very hard and determined to get stronger. Also, I just need to mention the importance and huge role Kusakabe is playing here. On one side, he didn't play a major during the fight, however. His value is apparent in teaching Yuji simple domain, which will play a major role in Yuji surviving Sukuna's domain. Also, thanks to UI technique, this is possible. and I think we shouldn't underestimate UI's value and the role that he played so far. I mean, this kid has been teleporting everyone on the battlefield, and he's responsible for Yuji being able to grow and use simple domain. Now, back to the fight. Yuji uses new shadow style, simple domain, against Sukuna's domain. Yuji notices that Sukuna's domain is incomplete and there's some loophole so he can endure it. The narrator reveals that Sukuna can't maintain this high-level domain for a long time and also cannot capture Maki, who has no cursed energy within his domain. Sukuna's malevolent shrine will collapse after 99 seconds. Yuji, Maki, Ino, and Choso try to endure the rampage. Choso is still concerned about his little bro as he shouts, "Yuji!" Yuji's simple domain barrier cracks as it couldn't withstand Sukuna's domain slashes. Yuji gets slashed and he loses his left foot, but he's still unfazed. He notices that the slashes stopped and thinks they endured the onslaught, but Sukuna immediately brings out flames. The chapter ends here and break next week. The editor's comment at the end, "Flames of certain death closes in." Finally, Sukuna is using the flames he used during his fight against Jogo. We've been waiting for years now for Sukuna to use his flames. Hopefully, we get an explanation of how this works. A popular fan theory is Sukuna's black box. As we know, Sukuna is inspired by Japanese mythology, and the theory of the black box is based on the name of Sukuna's domain expansion. Now going back to Sukuna's Japanese text of his domain expansion Fukuma Mizushi. Mizushi means a ferretry, which is an ornate, a portable bearer for the relics of a saint. In other words, a shrine to keep relics of saints. Essentially, it's a shrine used for evil spirits or curses, and it's highly possible for Sukuna to be able to store other powers like relics and curse techniques of the sorcerers he defeated and consumed. This would explain Sukuna's black box. Essentially, Sukuna, after consuming his twin sibling, has two cursed techniques. The main one is dismantle and cleave, which he uses most of the time. The second one is his black box, which allows him to summon and use cursed techniques of the sorcerers that he consumed. However, this is just a theory, and I think since we're in the endgame, we'll get an explanation next chapter, or we'll have a better explanation of Sukuna's technique. On the other hand, our heroes are in big trouble. I don't think they have anything or anyone to counter Sukuna's flames. I mean, even Kusakabe thought about this earlier. However, it seems that they have come prepared and thoroughly planned for the fight against Sukuna, so I'm very interested to see what comes next. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And you should check the previous videos to get a better understanding of the current events.